Boy, I just created a little bit of extra work, didn't I? But hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I didn't know that that was glued on there like that, and that was the one I wanted to use anyways over there, so I'm good. I'm good. Okay, we pull that off. We take a look. You have to look carefully to find where it is. See, there's a little groove down there. And that's why I'm using my bigger screwdriver. Because if I had just that little one, the little one doesn't give me enough oomph. Okay, I'll pull that off. Get my Phillips screw driver here. And see, this is the one over here. If I were to tighten this, it's going to spin. See, it's just spinning because there's no backing to it. I'm surprised these handles stayed tight as long as they did. And this one is always going to be tight because it's screwed on to that full piece of wood there. Okay? And this one does not have any glue on it. Hope you can see that. I think you can. Okay. See there? Nothing. No glue on that side, and that's the side that really should have had the glue as you're pulling it closed. I'm surprised this one never had an issue with it before. Okay, and so I'm gonna leave this one over here. I gotta remember where these things go, right? Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna put this one outside the door, so I know it's the one that goes on this outside. And see, now I've got to do, I'm still not done, am I? Now I've got to take this one apart. I hope you're figuring out what all I'm doing here. Okay, the one that was broken, I'm going to put over here so I don't get it all mixed up. And let's see, we'll get you over here. I would be doing this, you know, I'd be fixing this the same way whether or not I was running the video camera or not. And since I am running the video camera, or since I am doing the job, why not make a video of it, right? Okay. Ah, come on, there. Okay. That one's gonna pop off there. I'll get my little screwdriver and look carefully. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. Usually you try to swivel that on there somewhere, because see this you could snap it on wherever, but you don't want to snap it on so that that little notch is facing up or on the outside. You want to get it somewhere over this direction. I would put it down towards the bottom. Okay, when I get ready to reflip it, and I'll show you the little groove I'm talking about. See right there? See that little groove? It's not much of a groove, is it? Just enough. And see, I'm going to have to be strategic of this, because the last painter, when he painted it with these door handles on, and I can see the paint. So the last thing I want to do is have that facing up or anything. I'm going to have to probably angle that down, because I don't want that to show, and I don't want this little nib right in there. That keeps it snapped on there, see? That's the only little nib right there that kind of keeps that on there. So when you're taking your screwdriver, you got it right there, and all you do is tilt a little bit and this pops off. And see, I could clean this paint off with my fingernail if it was in an area where I think this might show, let's say, and I could just clean that little edge off. When's the last time you looked at your door handle trim? Anyways, but if you look at some of them and you've got a little paint there, you could clean it off this way, or you can swivel that little thing down. And see, if you swivel this down, maybe the paint is showing all up here, so then you flip it around so you don't see the paint. Now all of a sudden you see this little thing facing up. But like I say, if you don't work on doors that much, you're not gonna know all that. You're not even gonna notice that kind of stuff. You see what I mean? All right, so I'm gonna get you back over here, and I'm gonna take this one off, right? I'm going to take this one off, and let's just for kicks see if this one's tight. See, it's not. It's just spinning. See? It's not in anything. And if you ever have to put these fake ones on, you could put some construction adhesive on there, but then you have to make sure to do it just right so it doesn't spooge out of the outside or something. And see, I can tell, see that? This one didn't have any construction adhesive on it like that other one. Okay. And you know why I'm taking this off, right? Because I have to make this hole bigger on this side over here. I don't necessarily have to take a drill bit to it. I could just take my little screwdriver, couldn't I? The one on this side here, and just enlarge that hole a little bit. Now, theory has it, this one should be lining up about the same as the other side. If it wasn't 100%, I could still angle the screw. However, because I got 1 3/8 inches to work with, see there? That's coming out of the other side here, see? So when I fish my screw in there, it's gonna come right out. See? And speaking of that, now I'll put that. I can put that back in there. I can see how far it's sticking out over here for when I put this one back in, and I can see that it's hanging out. It's hanging out. I think I have to cut that back about 3/16 of an inch, and I'm gonna get my felt tip pin. I'm just gonna put a little dab on that screw after I hold this back up there. You see what I mean? Then I'm going to take it outside and cut it with a hacksaw blade. Now here's the trick. Remember I told you if you have to cut one of these little screws off with a hacksaw, this is number 6 screw, you can cut off a number 8, number 10, whatever you want. But if you happen to have a nut, you can put the nut on first, like that, okay? And then after I figure out exactly where to cut it, I can cut it off with the hacksaw. Now I can back the screw out, and as I get ready to take it off, it's going to be kind of hard to take off. I can go forward and backwards, and then go a little bit further, forward and backwards. And what that's doing is cleaning the threads to make the threads bend back into place for the nut to slip right back on. You see what I mean? A lot of times you don't have that chance. Maybe you just have a screw like this for a bifold door and you just want to put a door handle, a door knob on it. You don't have the chance of having a nut. But if you have a nut that's the same size, for that you can just spin it on, cut it off, and back it off. That's the best way. Because if you cut this now, okay, And no matter how fine of a saw blade you've got 32 teeth. Or maybe, you know, hacksaw blades, you get 32 teeth, 24, 18, or 16. And this could be rough. Even if you got a 32 inch, 32, I think that means teeth on a hacksaw blade per inch, 32 or whatever. And no matter what, after you cut it, you can cut it as straight as you can. And when you go to try to put the nut back on, you may not be able to get it back on. If that's the case, then you'd have to rub this on some sandpaper or a little file to kind of get those burrs off of there, you know, at the end, so that then you can put this nut on there. But hey, if you got the nut now, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take it off. I'm going to do exactly what I need to do on the door, like I was showing you. Push it through, get a felt tip pin mark where I think it needs to be. Then before I cut it, I'm going to put this back on like that. Okay. And I'm going to hold this with a pair of pliers like that. And then I'm going to cut this off with the hacksaw. Now I can back this off. Make sense? Okay, so that is my next step. Okay, so I've got it marked, and I put the nut back on, and where that is, I know I have to cut just before the black felt tip pin. I also have to think about this because I want that thing snug. And probably what's going to happen is, as I tighten it up, if I want to get it just a hair tighter, this door is hollow in here, and it could give in this way to the inside, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. So for that reason, I might cut that off just a hair more off. I can't cut it off too far though. I still have to have enough room for it to just barely fit on the nut. You know what I mean? And then once I start cinching it up, it's going to go on a little bit further. Okay? So now I'm going to go outside and cut this off. And I got to make sure I've got this on here. I'm just going to hold this with a pair of pliers and hold it really tight. I'm going to put this on a little piece of 2x4, and I'm going to cut that off with the hacksaw. And here's a little tip for you too. When I got something like this, I don't like to just rip this off, because then later, if you want to know what size it was, you don't have this, maybe it got ripped off, or next time you're looking for it, you don't have all the screws. You got two screws and only one nut left because it got thrown around. So I just do that business. Pull out a screw, and then I can fish a nut. I can fish a nut out of that same little hole. Okay, right there. Like that. Okay. Now, I've got 3 screws and 3 nuts left for another project. Those are never going to come out of there. And I'm ready to cut this off.